Hello there and welcome back. In this video we are going to get started with Istio or Istio on Kubernetes, and basically what we have is a freshly installed Kubernetes cluster. Each of them has 8 gigs of RAM and 4 vCPUs. So let me log in to the Kate master. And here we will need root privileges. So just to verify, kubectl get nodes should return us with the workers and the age and availability. So Istio is basically a service mesh and one of the, let's say, more or most populars. And we are going to need Helm to install Istio. And if we go to the get started section and installing Helm, we should be able to use these URLs. So first we are going to install tar and git because they both will be needed for Helm. And once we have the binary, we are going to give it executable permissions and use the get helm.sh. We need to set the verify checksum equals to false and then run the get helm. And if everything goes well, it should be able to install it. So in order to install Istio artifact hub, we should have the packages in Helm chart, and we will do a nod of the Istio release repository, and then we are going to update our Helm repositories, and then we are going to install first the Istio base. And after the Istio base was installed, we will have to install the Istio daemon, and then we will have to install the Istio gateway, which will be our ingress, and we will have to install the CNI, which is the container network interface for Istio. So since everything was successfully installed, we can issue the helm list-a command, and you can see these are all the components that we will be using. All right, so now we should have or get the Istio binary, and technically we can use the official link provided on the web page. And I'm not going to issue the Istio or Istio CTL install command, but rather just prepare the binary to be present on my system, and I need this to be able to interact with different components. And I am going to move the directory which is downloaded and extracted and append the path to my bash rc. And after that, we can source the bash rc file, and then istio ctl version should give us the following information. So if Istio is not installed with Helm, you'll get like a message that the Istio system namespace is not available. And then what we will have to do is to enable Istio injection. And we have to enable it on all the namespaces that we plan to use Istio in, because technically it will create small proxies before our deployments, and that's how Istio works. So let's enable the injection, and I have the Calico network installed, and I have to disable the connect time load balancing so that this works. On this line, this should be disabled. And after that, I can use the kubectl rollout restart daemon set calico node in the namespace calico system. And then we can use the Istio CTL manifest apply --set components.cni.enabled and set to true. Good. If I didn't reconfigure Calico, this would give me a warning that this setting requires the connection time load balance to be disabled. Okay, so we will also have to create a YAML file which describes a cluster role and cluster role binding, so that the Istio CNI is allowed to get, watch, and list pods. So that's the next one that we are going to create. And after that, we are going to deploy the book info example. So that's one thing. And wait for them to complete. All right. It is still working. I don't know why, but it kind of takes a lot of time. By the way, when you download the Istio .gz file, you will get in the Istio folder some samples, and we are going to use some of these samples. Okay, processing resources for CNI gateway daemon set. Very good. Let's until then create the roles. So basically, what should be it? This should be it. cr.yaml. So this is what I was talking about. The cluster role is for Istio CNI, and the role binding is for this cluster role, so the service account can use these roles. And we are still deploying. What else do we need, or will we need? Until this completes, let's do the following. We are going to use the kubectl apply -f cr.yaml, and last applied should only be used. Okay, configured. Okay, these are just two warnings. Good. So kubectl create namespace book info, and we can set the current context to be the book info. So kubectl config set context current and namespace book info. Good. So as I mentioned, the injection should be defined on all the namespaces that we want to use Istio with. So let's enable it in the book info namespace as well. Oh, and this has completed. Now let's reapply it. The cr.yaml, good, unchanged. It seems to be fine. So in the Istio samples, we have the book info and the platform and the cube and the book info.yaml. And we will have to apply it. So kubectl apply -f. And technically, this is going to create the pods, the deployments, the service account, and so on. And we can use the kubectl get pods to check the pods and the deployment status, or we can use the kubectl get all to get every information from this setup. And currently, this is still working. Oh, we are getting there. So V1 ratings, it just takes time until everything is downloaded. And what we also have to do is to apply the gateway. So that gateway is located under the Istio samples, bookinfo, gateway, API, bookinfo, gateway. And this is what we have to use kubectl apply with. Okay. Oh, and we will have to install the CRDs. So the CRDs, if we go to try Istio, and then we will have the following command that we have to execute. So now it should create the necessary resource definitions. And if we check the pods, we can see all of them are running, and we can apply the bookinfo gateway. So now the kubectl get svc should give us back the appropriate information. And if everything goes well, we should be able to use the curl localhost 3425. And if we use the -i, it says not found, not available, and we can use the product page. And as you can see, it is working. Now in the browser, if I go to this URL, like this, it's master, you can see that the bookinfo has been successfully installed. The next thing that we will have to do is to, okay, we have the gateway, we were able to reach the product page, and what else? Oh, I think for now this should be it, and we can focus on deploying Kiali. So Kiali is basically a web interface for you to get insights to your service mesh. And for this, we also have the code under Istio samples add-ons. So technically, it's just the kubectl apply -f. And if we check the kubectl get pods -n Istio system, you can see that these are currently being created. And the last container that will come up is going to be the Loki container. And if we check the services with SVC, you will see that this is going to be the service that we want to connect to, but it's a cluster IP, so it's only reachable from the master node. And I cannot use my browser in this form to reach it. So this one will have to be patched. And we will see the example for that as well. Okay, now Loki is being created. Let's watch it till completion. Oh, Prometheus is running. And Loki is almost there. 1 of 2, 2 of 2. So now we can patch the IP address of Kiali. So it becomes a load balancer address. And if we issue the get service in the Istio system, you will see that this is now a load balancer IP, and we should use this port to connect to it. Let's try that. So HTTP, it's master, and the port number, and there we go. So now Kiali is set up, and you can see that we have the bookinfo available. So the next thing that we will have to do or can do is to inspect our mesh, how it looks like from Kiali's perspective. So we have Prometheus, Grafana, we have data plane with 2 namespaces, and the Istio D. If we want, we can also check the Istio configuration. If there is any, we can check the services that are available, and we can swap between the namespaces. So technically, this is it. We have a warning. So one of the service validation has failed. We also have the applications. One is the product page, the rating, the reviews, and so on. So this is basically coming from the Kubernetes API with the help of the objects. And if you want, we can check different information about our app as it's being used. So let me just give it a couple of refreshes. And book info. And this is how the traffic flows from or within my service. And I think it's a pretty neat and useful way to develop or interact with service mesh applications with Kubernetes, because this gives many insights as to what are the success rates, the speed of different components, how much time each request needs to complete. So that was all I wanted to show you. See you in the next one.